turkey breast over here, getting ready to go cook it up today. It's feel defrosted now, so I think we're gonna start prepping the. All right, I'm back. I'm sorry. I always get a disruption every time I drive this road. But yeah, back to what I was saying. We're gonna try to inject the turkey. Yeah, back to what I was saying. We're gonna try to inject the turkey breast, put some nice seasoning and flavoring into it, and bake it. I mean, we do have like a little I don't know what you call it. It's black. It's really huge. Like almost looks like a Dutch oven, but it's electric. And we put the turkey in there last time, and it came out really good. So we'll see. We're going to be doing overnight cooking again, so I'm looking forward to it. Things have been very, very busy. There's a lot going on right now. And I mean, like, I've just been at it all day today. I really have not gotten a chance to really relax, really. I mean, I saw a few videos in between. Like, I took like 30-minute breaks in between a lot of my errands, but they were very quick. I listen to a lot of videos throughout the day as I'm cleaning and doing things because it keeps me occupied. But I've just been at it since this morning. Like, oh man, I'm like just now getting around to just sit in the car and then getting straight over to my mom's. And that's because, this time of the year is always like one of the busiest, besides when holidays come around with my second job. I just reminded myself I have to renew my base ID. Oh boy. On the military base, I got to do that too. I better write that down on my list of errands I have to do because I have so much going on. I forgot, like, I'm forgetting things. I have like 12 tasks to do. Like, I have a paper in my bag right now, like, that I wrote like 12 different things I have to do throughout the week between my busy schedule at work. And, you only get a 30-minute break. I mean, I couldn't go a little longer. I mean, they say they don't mind pushing it, but I don't really like to do that because I always worry that somebody may say something and complain. So I don't really do that. I just stick with my 30-minute break. But yeah, it just feels like there's just so much going on at one time. And then I got the inspection up. So that's another reason why these weekends are going to be busy, these upcoming weekends, because, it's so much going on. I got to, all day today, all I've been doing is cleaning, doing laundry. I had to do 2 loads, run back, cleaning up on and you're going to be failing inspection. So I got every weekend I'm doing a project. So I clean the house as usual, and then I do a deep cleaning on one of the rooms. So today was the bathroom. I detailed the floors. I detailed the sides. I cleaned the edges, the sides of the caulking area, the ceilings, the fan, everything. Bleached down. Like, I don't know what, I had to open up the windows to ventilate everything. And then cleaned inside the toilet, cleaned everywhere, cleaned the rugs. I mean, I did the whole 9 yards. It was crazy. And then I still ain't finished because tomorrow when I get back, which won't be until later on in the evening, probably most likely, I gotta do other things in my house, and I gotta go through the rest of the mail and the bills, and I'm just like, hubby, you leaving everything up to me, like, he leaves way too much on me. Like, I mean, he works, which is good, but you need to do work in the house too. It's like 95% of everything in the house is me. Like, I'm taking care of everything, and it's overwhelming because it's like I'm looking at all the bills. So I gave him a task. I said, can you at least pick up the mail for me? So he did it one time. He hasn't done it today. And I'm like, I want you to do some stuff because I'm doing everything. I'm carrying 2 loads of laundry. I'm putting dinner on. I'm cleaning. I'm cooking. I'm doing all the detailing of the apartment for the inspection. I'm looking at all the mail and paperwork and everything we have to do. And looking at all the stuff they want for the new release renewal, which is ridiculous. They want 2 passport-looking photos of us, and I gotta clarify: do they want it from an actual passport? Because if so, we gotta rush to get passports. Then they want us to get renter's insurance, and they want it to be $100,000 policy. It can't be no less, and if we have anything less than that, they can evict us. And they said that we need to show proof of renter's insurance from now on. That's $100,000 and above, and it must have their name included in it as a landlord put their name on there. I'm like, I gotta message them on Monday, email. I'm like, this is just way too much. And I'm like, they just, every year it just seems like they get worse with all their requests, and then they put our rent up, of course. So I got to figure all these things out and get that together too. But it's like I'm doing like mostly everything outside of work. I'm doing everything at home, and my husband's like, I don't want to hear about bills. He's like, you don't want to hear about bills. I'm like, Matthew, well, this is mine and your bills. It's not just me. And he's like, I don't want to hear about bills. Just don't talk about it to me. And he's running into the room. I'm like, yeah, you're gonna leave it on me. So I'm running around doing everything. I'm like overwhelmed right now. So, I just can't be, I told my husband, I said, good thing I don't have kids with you, because I would be 10 times overwhelmed, you know what I mean? He can't deal with stress very well. He really cannot. Like, he's not good with stress management. So it's like he throws everything onto me. Like, he doesn't know how to take care of, like, he has a very short attention span. So like, even when it comes to IRS, let's say there's a IRS debt, he can't deal with it. He gets annoyed with the person with a few minutes with him being on the phone. And then he don't want to hear you talking to them on the phone. He wants you in the room. I'm like, I'm sorry, I got to do things. I got to clean. I got to do things in my apartment. Like, there's not much I can do, So it's a lot. And so, I got to do this. I got to, I'm still not finished because there's more tasks we got to do next week. And this time I'm going to have him vacuum. I'm going to have the buckets behind. I know I'm going to drive him nuts, but I'm saying you need to get those cobwebs on the ceiling or whatever it is, like on the corners and everything like that. I'm going to make him responsible for changing the smoke detector thing that's up there, because they will fine you if it's not working. And I'm going to have him, maybe do some vacuuming, and then I'm going to shampoo, carpet, the rugs and everything. I mean, the rugs don't look bad, but I just feel like these people find every excuse to fail you, an inspection. I mean, I've cleaned all the walls last week and the rest of the apartment. And then I cleaned the inside of the oven, the racks, and put new drip pans in, cleaned the fan around there, everything. I wasn't playing last week either. I mean, it's just been very busy, and I got 12 different tasks to deal with over the week that I just couldn't get around to this week. So now we're on my way to my mom's, because I had said I wanted to do some cooking on a little, mini vacation with the family, and I don't want to be waiting to the last weekend to do anything before inspection. So I figured, like, let me just do it that week. Let's not risk it, And it's really for Passover, Easter. I do Passover. I call it Passover. So I'm like, we're gonna have an early Passover dinner. So we're gonna be making I think we're making yams. I hope so, because I love yams. We got the turkey breast here that we're gonna season up tonight and probably cook it in the morning. Just thinking, I don't know if my mom said she wanted to make baked mac and cheese. I have to ask her again. Definitely gonna make fried cabbage. I don't know. I think we're going to make buttermilk biscuits this time. I'm going to be making the biscuits. I love making biscuits and all the baking stuff. I thought there was something else. I don't know if she's going to make Spanish rice or not. But we have a whole list of things that we're going to be doing tonight. I'm going to need some coffee to stay up. But that's just been my day, really, all week. It's just been busy. Work. You come, I haven't even ate dinner yet, so I'm just going to grab something. Look for, get something small to eat. And my nephew's going to be there. He's looking forward to seeing me, because, they like to see their auntie. And if I can, if I have time after we finish doing all our cooking overnight and eating, having our Passover get together with the family, afterwards, then if I have time, I may take them to the bowling alley for a little bit, because I had promised I'd take them out somewhere. And I feel bad. They make me feel bad when I don't do stuff that I say I was going to do. So, I feel bad. I'm like, okay, let me go take them to a bowling alley or do something with them. But yeah, those are my babies, I can't wait to see my little niece too, Yeah, it's just been a busy wreck. Busy wreck. It always gets like this, but I got to remember to put that on my list of tasks for the week or I'll forget. So, I got this, like, where's my bag at? Oh, it's right here. Got a whole paper of things I wrote out, and, like, I don't know what I did with it. Oh, it's right here. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to make sure I put military base ID renewal. I need to make sure I put that on there, because otherwise I'll forget and it's gonna go expired when I have to actually do some, like, work on the military base. So, oh boy. I mean, I like, sometimes, going there over the week could be tiring too, but I like the extra money. I mean, nowadays you can always use extra money with all the things that's going on, the cost of living. I was listening to some people on their videos, because I always listen to different things as I'm, cleaning to stay occupied. And, I was listening to some things earlier about, the prophecies that's going on right now with Iran. Iran used to be Persia. We all know that. If you look back in history, they changed their name over the years. Forgot what year it was, but Iran was once Persia, and then they changed. And they talk a lot about Persia at the end of times, and Israel. And we see what's going on over there. And a lot of prophecies are being fulfilled. All these things that's happening is meant to happen. It's happening very quickly. So, that's showing that we're getting close to the time of his return, the Lord's return. But before the Lord's return, remember, the Antichrist is going to come. He's going to deceive the unbelievers. All the people that don't believe on the Lord, they're going to get deceived. I mean, if you read the Bible, it's all in there. Read Jeremiah, read Ezekiel, read Revelations, read all these things, Book of Daniel. Read all of that, and it'll tell you what's going on. You see what's happening in this world. Book of Daniel said human knowledge will increase. How do they know that we would be capable of increasing any more than what we knew? Like, they already knew. They said knowledge will increase. They told you what was going to happen at the end of times with these countries, Israel and Iran, like Persia and all this stuff. It's all happening before our eyes. More than ever, and this is the truth, we need to be spiritually ready, prepared, mentally, emotionally ready and prepared. And you have to pray to God for these, for strength through these times, because there's going to be a lot of things that's going to be happening. We just got to get ready. This is just the beginning. And there's an Antichrist is going to come. He's going to deceive many people. Now, I don't remember if he's coming after it said 1/3 of the world will be gone by famine, fire, and pestilence, or is it going to be before? I don't know. But I do know that the Bible speaks about 1/3 of the world being gone by pestilence, 1/3 from famine, and 1/3 from fire. And I believe fire means like real literal fire, like war, like a nuclear bomb type of thing, like something's going to go off, it's going to blow up everybody. And I see it happen, and I believe that's what it means when it says 1/3 of the world is going to be gone by fire. Some people may say that, oh, maybe, they're talking about, global warming, as the sun is going to burn things to half alive. I mean, I don't know about all that. I do know that there will be signs and things that's going to happen with the stars and the moon and sun and things at the end of times, but I have to read back at that. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to happen. The Antichrist, he's going to come, and he's going to deceive people with and this is a scripture about this, like, with peace. You know what I mean? When they're calling peace and serenity and all this stuff, it's a false of peace. He's going to come with a false sense of peace. And he's going to deceive many people, and he's going to have people worshiping him. He's going to do signs and miracles and have all these people deceived. And people who didn't believe, who didn't know Jesus, who didn't know God, is going to get deceived very easily from this demonic person that's going to come and deceive all these people. Heck, it may be a group of people. I don't even know. But they're going to be people and agents of Satan, and they're going to deceive many people, unbelievers. And they're going to I'm sure they're going to make false promises and bribe people. oh, if you do this for me, I will give you everything. You see what I can do? See these powers I can do? I'm gonna do this. You know? And the Bible also says that at the end of times, as we see what's happening right now for our eyes, it states about buying and selling, that if you don't take the mark of the beast, you won't be able to buy or sell. But see, the ones that don't take the mark of the beast are the true believers. We're not taking the mark of the beast. We're not going to trust in his demonic ways. The people that are unbelievers are going to be taking his mark. What is the mark? I don't know. I believe that it may be both a spiritual and physical mark. You know, so I don't know. You know, 100% for sure. But I have my beliefs of what it possibly can be. And I really do believe it's very spiritual. And I do think that there will be some kind of physical marking or something that people partake in to represent that physical marking. That's what I believe. In the sense of like, okay, you know, I'm like, for instance, you put a swastika sign on you, right? That's a sign of hatred, right? But you're putting it on you because that's what you feel in your heart. So I feel like people that are going to take the mark of the beast is going to be a spiritual marking because their hearts is with the devil, but they're also going to probably represent things, put certain markings on their bodies, or take something that would represent that they want to be with the devil. But the sad part is that there'll be a lot of people that are going to get deceived into thinking that the Antichrist is God, or that he's this person that's holy and mighty, and he's going to deceive them. He's going to be against Jesus, and he's going to deceive them. He's going to first come very friendly, nice, sweet, like, you know, like sweeter than a freaking angel, probably looking like he's innocent. And people are going to look up to him. He's going to be like a role model, and people are going to get infatuated with him probably in his miracles, whatever he does. And then it's going to get to the point he's going to have full control, and he's going to show his true colors. And by that time, it'll be too late, because there'll be people that'll be so like infatuated and in tuned with him that they can't see that they're being gaslit and deceived. And that's what the Bible, it shows this Antichrist. He's going to deceive people. So we have to be ready for these times because it's coming real fast. We see what's happening over there in Israel, and you can't sit here and say that no, la, 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 la. It's in the Bible. Read it. You know, it tells you what's going to happen in these times in Jerusalem, Israel, Persia, which is Iran, and all these things that's happening. And this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. We haven't seen nothing yet. And I hope we don't, because I hope that it goes, you know, we hope to not see anything, because it's going to get bad before better. It's going to get worse before good. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to see a lot of stuff happening. There will be a time of false peace, but beware when that happens, because there is no true peace, not without God. And the devil is going to use that. He's going to deceive you. He's going to make it seem like he has all the solutions to your problems, but really all he's doing is trying to gain your trust, so that way he can get you to do things sneakily, like a frog when they are just lighting it up in the boiling water. They don't even realize. They don't even realize you're turning up the pot slowly to boil their ass. And that's what the devil's doing. You know, so people listen to this and laugh now. I don't really care about people laughing about what I have to say, because this is not my words. This is what's true. This is what's going to happen, and it's happening right before your face. And there's nothing you can say. You can't say, "Oh, that's just foolery," or "That's just conspiracy theory," or "It's just, oh, you're crazy," whatever. No, crazy. That's why you see what you see happening right now. And look what you see going on in the world. It's getting more chaotic. It's getting things are becoming more expensive than it ever has been in society, ever in this nation. It's so bad now, and it's going to get worse. And then on top of that, the morality of people is so bad now. The kids disrespectful. You got teachers trying to quit left and right. It's going to get worse. And so it's something that we have to, like I said, we have to be spiritually, mentally, and emotionally ready for. Be aware. I'm not saying these things to scare people and to put them in anxiety. I'm listening to different things, people around the world, and people saying, what the hell is going on? And they feel something is off right now in the air and in society. And, these are all sorts of people that don't know each other. They're saying the same exact thing. So, when people are saying the same exact things around the world, and they're telling you this is how I feel, and this is just strange, and life feels strange, and I don't know why I'm feeling this way, you know that it's not just yourself or your mind feeding yourself these things. You know that obviously people are all feeling something that's not right. And it's like, and it's not just even what's going like it's not just even what's going on currently that's happening before our eyes that I'm feeling something's off. Like, I'm not just feeling this way just because I see all the things that's going on physically, but I feel something off, like in the sense of something we don't see. Like, a lot of people, the way they explain how they feel, it sounds like that. Like, the way they're explaining how they feel is almost very spiritual. And that's because it is a spiritual war going on. They're like, I don't know what's going on. I feel like something is off in the air or something. I don't explain it. It's not depression. It's just something don't feel right. And they're like, and it's not just what we're seeing that makes me feel this way. It's something else too. And what that something else is what you don't see, is the spiritual war. We're living in some really perilous times. We're getting close to the end. And it's a good thing, because we want our Lord to come back. That's just it. Like, we want God to come back. We know that it's just every generation is going to get worse and worse and worse. You look at the world 50 years ago, I'm not saying they didn't have problems, but you can't say it's the same, and you can't say it changed for the better. It did not change for the better. Maybe, it's better technology. That's nothing. And technology is being used for all sorts of evil. Look how people are using AI now. People are not using it for good purposes. What makes you think that in the world of evil that people will use AI technology for good things? All good things, And I still yet sometimes question that stuff. Like, what's really behind all of those things, Is it possible for the spiritual realm to kind of access those things? Because I got a lot of stories to tell, and I just have not gotten around to it. I've been wanting to talk about it on EQ Stream, but I haven't gotten around to it yet because I've just been running around and so busy. I just have very limited time and no time to really look into things, like put my stories and stuff that I want to put together, because these things are not conspiracy theories. These things are real. If you look it up, look up the case of the woman whose son committed suicide because the AI robot on ChatGPT told him to. Okay, this is not conspiracy. These are things that's real. But you know what? If we mentioned these things like 5 years ago or maybe 10 years ago, people would have said that. So, that's conspiracy. A robot and ChatGPT or whatever's going to do that. Yeah. Heck, I'll tell you a story. This is true. Back in 2006, this is when I met my really good friend. And I'm still good friends with to this day, that lasted with me all these years. We've been friends for 20 years now, right? And she was pregnant at the time. She had her daughter that year, and I used to hang out with her father. And her father, used to say things, and I used to always question, like, how accurate the things that he says was, So one day he told me, he said, Candace, he says, that they're going to put chips in people, in their hands and things like that in the future, and they're actually doing it now. They're experimenting on it. Now, I went back and told my father, I said, yeah, but my friend's father, he's showing me videos, he's showing me research and facts about this chip, right? My father says, Candace, stop it now. That's not true. This is going back in 2006. They were laughing. That's crazy. I don't listen to that man. Yeah, there ain't no chips going to no people. I said, no, it's going into people. And I was 17 at the time. Now, we're in 2026. Guess what? Go look up about Sweden. There's people with chips in their hands now. They don't even need a wallet anymore. There's people walking around. They can, literally go past the anything, like a scanner, and they know who you are. They don't need a wallet. They know how much money you have. If they want to go and swipe their hand and pay for their meal, there you go, bloop. And guess what? In 2014, when I went to go become a medical assistant, they taught us about the chips going into people's hands. And they said that they were trying to make it mandatory. They were trying to make it where they push this chip. And I couldn't believe it. When I read that in my own book and medical, like trying to become a medical assistant at school, they told us this in our technology class, because we had to take computers class first. And inside of that, they were talking about the chips and how they wanted to push it. And actually, they wanted to push it for a year before this time. And I'm trying to remember. I actually think I still have the books in my house. If I find it, I'm going to look in it, because I remember reading it. And those books that I have from, that's going back in 2014. That's what, 12 years ago? So I'm going to go look in there again, because it was in there. It was in a technology book. And if I could find it, I'll show it and read it. Because they said in that book, they said that, they're thinking about pushing that chip. And they were, in the year I saw, I thought it was well before this time. Like, I thought they wanted to do this well before 2026. And I was shocked to say, oh my gosh, they're even teaching about it now. So where's this? Oh, Candace, that's crazy. That's not true. Oh no, it is true. So, a lot of people, they sit back and say, oh, you sound like a conspiracy theorist. Oh, that's not. But everything we've been saying is not conspiracy theory. Everything is happening right here. Everything we said is happening. Sometimes things may sound crazy, but guess what? It's far from crazy, and it's happening right before your eyes. Heck, I mean, I'm sure that maybe around that time in 2006, if I told my father, you know what, in the future we're gonna have these AI robots, and they're gonna be humanoids, and they're gonna walk around and everything, and work and everything. Oh, Candace, or anyone, they probably say that sounds ludicrous. That ain't gonna happen. And well, guess what? That's happening right now. Look up Sophie the robot. She has a citizenship in one of the Middle Eastern countries. Will Smith actually talked with her too. and that's why I laugh when people are quick to laugh. Don't be quick to laugh, because when things start unfolding in front of your face, you can't, you're gonna look like a fool. I'll laugh back at the fool now. It's like, see, don't think things, don't just sit there and make assumptions. You gotta look into things first, But yeah, I'm over here looking at my paper. I have to remember to put that tax on. Look at all this stuff. All of this stuff here. All this stuff to do over the week. Oh, I'm gonna turn this heat off. I don't need it on. Got dark so quick. But yeah, everything like that's all I was doing today. I was listening to different videos and what's going on around the world. People are frustrated because prices are going up and high and up and up. Gas prices are expected to go up even more again because of everything that's going on over there in Iran and all the stuff in Israel. So, it's a lot of frustrated people. And can I blame them? No. A lot of people are now resorting to, I mentioned this back on my one of my last streams. I think I was cooking, how people are starting to live in hotels now because they're like, it's just more convenient for them. It's cheaper. They go to the extended hotels. And they're paying like $1,400 a month versus if they were in their own house paying like $2,000 and above for rent. Some people are paying $3,000 for rent, and then the place is not all that great. And then some people they're just like, you know what, I had it. Put their hands up, and they're just like, I'm out. They threw the towel in, and they're just living in their car, and they don't even care if it's illegal anymore. They're like, you know what? How many of us they're going to arrest? If we all live in our cars, how much more can they arrest us before they say, okay, we have no more room in our cells because, it's just too many people are arresting because they live on the street. They live in their cars. And a lot of people say, a lot of people would rather live in their car or their tent before the shelter homes, because a lot of these shelters, it's dangerous. Some of the places are pretty bad, Some people don't feel safe going into certain shelters. I'm not saying all shelters, but certain shelters, they're dangerous. or they're not well kept, and they got bugs everywhere and things like that. So they're like, I don't want to stay there. And then I have my stuff stolen from the other guy in the shelter. And, I'd rather just live on the side in a car or something, you know? So some people are like that. They're like, I'll just live in a tent. And if you think about it, because I looked at this with my sister one day, because we were like, this may be the future, tent living. Going back to the old days where everyone lived in huts and tents. And they got these tents now that you can blow up, and it looks like almost like a house that looks like it's blown up. And you blow the tent up, and you could put a TV in there, you could put a couch in there, put a heater in there to stay warm. A lot of people may do it for camping and stuff. So, if they're camping, they want to feel more at home, but be in an area where it's quiet and peaceful, and they can fish and hike, but they want to be comfortable in their tent. Because I've went to one camp trip, and that was my first and very last that I ever went to when I was 18, and it was very uncomfortable. Long story, but I went there, and the tent was very small, and there was condensation getting in. I was just very uncomfortable sleeping in there, trying to keep each other warm with our body heat. Even with the cover, we were cold and freezing because we went in the middle of October. So we weren't too, it was uncomfortable. But back to what I'm saying, it's nice. If you look up online, tents, home tents to live in, or blow up home tents to live in. A lot of people are resorting to that. They're just like blowing up their tents. They rent out an area, maybe like a campsite, and they just like sit there for a little bit. They don't tell no one they're homeless, I'm sure. And they just sit there, and they're like, okay, I'm going to stay here for a while. And it looks nice. When you go in there, you're like, you know what? This is doable. Like, you know what? If I had to have temporary shelter where, I have a nice, hard blow-up tent where it blows up and it looks like a house on the outside and covers me from the rain. I can lay down and sleep and have, a couch and a TV and a little heater inside. Why wouldn't I do that if I had to save money? And that's a good thing. Some people, they drive their car around, they travel, and they shelter. What they do is they get a gym membership. Planet Fitness, I think, back then they had like a $10 a month plan. I don't know if it's that cheap anymore, but they had let me get over here. They had a $20 a month plan, the higher one, where you can get the massages and stuff like that at the place. Now I'm sure maybe they went up in price. Maybe the cheapest plan is like $25 or $30 a month, but still, you get to shower, you get a locker, you get a bed massage, you get to work out. So a lot of people are doing that, where they get a gym membership, they pay it, they live in their car. When they need to shower, they go to the gym first, they work out a little bit, and then they go take a shower. And they do their hair because they got sockets to appliances and mirrors, your own locker to put your stuff in, and nobody will know you're homeless as long as you don't say anything. So a lot of people have been doing that, and that's a good way to kind of keep clean and also be able to live in your car. Some people take their seat out on the right side, and they put like a bed there or some table, and they get like some kind of generator or something so they can cook inside of their car. But when it comes to them doing their hair, their stuff that they got to do, they may go in the gym and do it after they work out. Some people are living in actual storage units. I couldn't believe, when I saw that, I was like, what? So people get a storage unit, right? They don't say anything because if they're caught, they can get it. So there's people that have been living in a storage unit for a while. But what they do is they don't make it noticeable. They change the locations around. So they'll change the locations, the storage unit. They may go to a campsite or ground, or stay in their car for a night, or stay at a friend's house for the night, whatever. A hotel one night, and pay a room for like $50 because they're trying to save their money. But they always keep a gym membership. That's one thing, They do that, and go in a storage unit, and some people took in videos. They have their bed in there. They shut it down. They go there late at night. Doop, doop, come in. You know how many times I've gone to a storage unit at night to take furniture out or put it in there for my mom when she moved and stuff like that? I've done that many times. So I could have sat there and stayed the night at a storage unit if I wanted to. Nobody would have known. So what they do is they come in, they open up the door, because you can go in as long as you have the passcode, and they go in and sleep in the storage unit. They get up, they leave, they act like they're putting their stuff together. Oh, hi, how you doing? Yeah, I just had to put my stuff while she was in there, and then she goes to work, or she goes to the gym, showers, does her hair, her makeup real quick for the day, and then she leaves. Anything other than that, they carry a backpack, and in their backpack, they have emergency supplies. They may have a bottle of water. Of course, they'll probably carry wet wipes, vaginal wipes for their coochie for the day. They'll bring a toothbrush and maybe a toothpaste, something like makeup remover to wipe their face at night when it's time to go to bed. Or, they may have a little water with them in a jug, because they may put a little water on a rag, wipe their face down, do whatever, put their hair together, wrap it at night to keep their hair from getting all, messy. And they go and sleep in their car. They park somewhere, maybe at a friend's, like near a front of a house or something. They just don't make it noticeable. Somewhere where it's public, like, for instance, an apartment complex, area, or a hotel with visiting spots, places like that, they may stop at and they'll go to sleep. I'm gonna get some Wendy's. I didn't eat dinner. Sorry. I said sorry because the guy behind me, he seems so close. I made such a sudden turn. So yeah, oh man, that burger looks good. Looks pretty good. I'm trying to think, what do I want to eat? I'm misbehaving today.
We'll be with you shortly.
Okay. Yeah, salads too, but I want to eat something.
One moment.
Okay. Thank God, I got 2 new chicken tenders. I already had chicken tenders earlier.
What can I get for you?
Can I get a bottle of water?
Anything else?
And I'm gonna get a junior cheeseburger deluxe.
Okay.
And I don't like fries. And I'll get a sour cream and potato.
What was it?
The sour cream and potato.
Anything else?
That's it.
Alright, that's gonna be $9.56.
Okay. I don't really like their French fries too much. So yeah, make sure I get my stuff here. See if I have any cash on me before I use my card. But yeah, so that's the thing. So now, like, that's what's going on. Like with a lot of people, they're like, hey, you know what? Let me live in my car. You know, if they're going to park certain places, they park like in areas where they know like people are not going to really, you know, be suspicious or like look at them and say, oh yeah, I got to use my car. I only got $2 in there. You know, they know like, okay, well, if I stay in an area where it's an apartment complex, where there's a lot of parking spots, it's public, you know, it's harder for people to really see that I'm living in my car. Um, what is another place? Like if you're in a shopping center for a couple of hours and you just lay back and relax, you could say that you're waiting for someone. Nobody knows, you know? Um, but you would have to leave eventually. You know, you can't stay there forever. Um, Places that are not noticeable, like if you park in front of a house, like let's say it's an area where you know the neighbors, or it's like an area where people park on the side of the street. You could park real quick at night and just turn your car off and just lay back. Don't make it noticeable that you're in there. You know, it's just sleep. You know, keep things silent. Don't let nobody know. And you go to sleep. If you're in a city, that can work very well because, you know, nobody's paying attention to you while you're sitting in the car like that. You know? Let me see. Hello. Hi, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. When I went to, matter of fact, when I went to school back in 2014, there was a girl going to school as well as a medical assistant, and she had a daughter that was in the car. I think her daughter's like 3 or 4 years old. She was living in her car, and she was struggling. She had the little girl in the car. Nobody said nothing because they understood her, I'm glad that they were like that. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
One thing that I cannot.
And you're all set.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Thanks. You too. Oh, let me just park real quickly before I go over to my mommy's because I know that, once I get there, I'm gonna get straight to cooking. So let me just eat real quick. One thing I can't stand is people that sit there and not help out. Like they sit there and they try to ruin people's lives. Like I hate people that sit there, not hate them like in a sense of like I wish death on them, but I hate their ways. I hate when people see someone struggling and instead of them being a helping hand, they would rather go report them and try to get them in trouble, making their situation even worse than what it was before. Like, that little girl needs her mother more than anything. And then you're going to go and do that. Because I've mentioned about this before, a couple of stories back on the past stream of mine of people who did stuff like that. And that's just evil. Like, you want to help somebody out, don't go reporting them. Help them out. Let them stay in your house. But you want to report them and then put that little girl in a worse situation and have the shelter take her or something away from her parents, and then who knows what they're doing to them, because a lot of times they get abused, and they're in a worse situation than they were from the beginning. So the little girl was in the car, and the little girl was in the car, and her mother would work hard, and then she would go to school, and she was living in a car. She would cry. I heard about it, and I was so it was sad, because she struggled to make a better living for her to get a job and do what she had to do, and the little girl was like, from the way it sounds to me, she was really understanding, and she was very well behaved. I think she knew from a young age that her mom was struggling and her mom was staying strong, So people knew that, and they did not sit back and try to report her or discourage her of anything. They encouraged her, and I don't know if she got help after that. I thought she did, but yeah, don't do that. Like if you see somebody that's poor and they have a child with them, don't go reporting them and trying to get them in trouble. Are they living in their car? That's evil. Like, help them out. Be a helping hand. Give them some resources. Try to lead them and guide them. Don't sit there and do that. That's evil. It's wicked. And if you're doing something like that, I wouldn't even want to be your friend. If I ever found out my friends ever did some shit like that to somebody and they didn't help out and they went and report somebody because, oh, they live in one bedroom apartment and she shouldn't be doing that. Da da da. I will drop you. I'll never be your friend again. I'll cut you off. I've cut off friends, but that's somebody I'm gonna cut off real good. I'm gonna cut them off real good, okay? Like that is not no friend of mine. I would never want to be friends with someone like that. Like if I ever become friends with somebody and do something evil like that, that's to me, that's somebody that's just dark, and I wouldn't want to be friends with them. I'd be like, oh, you did what? This woman, you know what she did? She she was living in a one bedroom apartment with her daughter. She wasn't supposed to do that, and she actually had like three other kids in there, and you're only supposed to blah blah. I will hang the phone up on you. I would say, you did what? Oh really? And he's like, yeah, I did. And then I'll block it, and they'll be like, oh, he'll try to call back. Hello? This phone is not answering calls at this time. That's exactly what I will do. I'm like, no, because there's people that I've mentioned stories about that, no. So it's like to me that's like evil, very evil. I'm gonna pray over my food. Okay. All right. I'm gonna have my potato in a little bit. Just want to eat something. My stomach is full. And even like with this whole thing that's been going on, like I know everybody has their mixed emotions about what's going on right now in the country with, the ICE members and people being here legally and stuff. Here's the thing with me. I don't like the idea that that illegals or whoever can just come up in our country, could be any bad guy. But one thing I do have a problem with is that when people already are here and they are working and they have children and you know what I mean, they're doing the best they can in this country and they're not criminals, and then people are trying to deport them. I have a problem with that. You know what I mean? Or like, for instance, how do I put this? There was a situation when I was listening to a video, and it was a woman, a teacher, and a guy was on the line with her and said to him, I reported that boy because he seemed like, I can tell that he was illegal. Like he was a kid in my classroom. I reported the mom and reported them because I think that they're suspicious. And the guy said, first of all, why would you do something like that? Like go and like they never made it known if they were legal or not or anything like that. Like, why are you reporting them? You get what I'm trying to say? And it's like, well, because they should not have been here. And, I reported them. I was very suspicious and I made sure that I reported the boy and the mom, blah, blah, blah. And to me, I just think a person that does things like that is just evil. Like that to me is evil. Like, I'm not going to do something like that to somebody. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just not going to. If I see a person here that speaks a different language and they are on the streets and they need help, they're here already. They're my fellow human. And this is the truth. Okay. Aside from our personal feelings, as one thing, okay, if they're a criminal, yeah, you need to get deported, get out of here. But, if you're already here and you're working, you're doing the best you can, you're already here. You know what I mean? You have a kid here. I can't just go in, just be like, well, I ain't going to help you out. Get out of here. You know what I mean? You're already here. You know what I mean? And you have a good reputation. You're not doing anything wrong. You've been here for a long time now. Like at this point, what's the point of getting rid of you? It's just stupid. This is the truth. When it comes to me being a child of God, I look at things from God's ways. I'm not perfect and I got my own personal feelings about things. And there's a lot of things I think is very unfair. But at the end of the day, just because things are unfair or let's say I didn't get certain opportunities or things didn't happen for me, doesn't mean that I should expect that good things or better things can't happen for other people. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't agree that, that we should be throwing all of our money out to, people that are immigrants and then leave our own people out. I think that's wrong. But however, am I mad about the idea of them getting success or having something somewhere to live or getting a help? No. I'm more mad at the fact that our government will never help us out when they have the money to do it. You know what I mean? And I don't like the fact that they didn't investigate who comes in and out before they just let anybody in. Like, I don't, there's a lot of people that come in that are bad people that will use that situation to do what they want to do, regardless of what country they're from. But when it comes to, a human being, when it comes to, a person needing help, they're at the end of the day, they're human beings. And the eyes of God, God doesn't care. You know what I mean? God is a God of love. And when I read the word of God, he never sat back and he never made it seem as if like we're supposed to mistreat the foreigner. You know what I mean? The foreigner comes in and they're, coming into the country, he never made us sit back and mistreat a foreigner, make them starve, don't help them out, don't this and that. Nowhere in the Bible does it say that. And a matter of fact, God would be very against that if we sat there and did things or did acts that wasn't of love. The Bible says, love thy neighbor as thyself. Neighbor don't mean a person that lives next to you. It means anybody. It says, love thy enemies. Stupid and let a dangerous person around you. What I'm saying is, love thy enemies is people that you're against, evil to them. So if you see your enemy on the street that's starving, you say, well, that person did that to me, so da-da-da. Now you evil. You're going to let them starve? You're not going to help them out? That's evil. And that's not of God. You know what I mean? So for me, like if I saw a person right down the street that was a foreigner and she was starving and hungry, she needed money or whatever, I'm going to give her money. I'm going to give her food. I give her water, give her some resources. Say, hey, this is a place you can go to. You know what I mean? She's already here. She's in my presence. And God is, trust me, the Bible says that God sends angels unaware. God tests you. And I can't do that. That would be evil of me to do. And sit back, I'm going to report her to ICE. Hey, guess what? No, I'm just going to sit there and say, here you go. I'm not even questioning nothing. I'm just going to say, here, there's some resources if you have somewhere to go. This is what I can do for you. And I pray for you, whatever. That's it. That's all I can do. They don't seem like they're dangerous and they're trying to hurt me and kill me. So I don't care if they stay here. I do care about criminals staying here, And so, and that's more for our own protection and safety reasons. But, at the end of the day, when it comes to God and what he wants, God wants us to love. He don't care about our personal feelings. Our feelings, at the end of the day, doesn't validate truth. It doesn't go above God's ways or his judgment. And, it always takes me back to the scripture about love in 1 John. 1 John. It says it's impossible to have the Spirit of God and hate your brother and when he says brother, he ain't talking about blood related only. He's not talking about just your blood related relatives or whatever. It's impossible for you to have the spirit of hate. You have the spirit of love. So when you move like that, I have to question that kind of person. I have to question someone like that. If I saw someone living in a car, I'm not gonna sit there, hey, guess what? They're living in a car and I don't know why they're in there and you really should investigate. No, bitch, shut up. Why don't you go help them out? That's like an evil person. That's very wicked. It's evil. And like the tent there is evil. And you gotta answer to God for that. And those are the things I think about. When I do something like that, I'm like, ooh, not only is that evil, but I got to answer to God. Did I show a loving child of God to that person when I did that? No, they saw the devil when I did that. You know? So, that's just something I think about that I, want to share with people, you know? It's just so much going on in this world. It's sad, It really is sad. But yeah, but I was, it was a good thing to see that the girl got to school and did what she had to do and got herself together, you know? Mm. I'm so hungry. Today I had yogurt with granola, a banana, and I had 2 pieces of chicken tenders and a bowl of cereal. That's all I had to eat today. I didn't really get a chance to eat. Mm. Mm, 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 mm. Oh man, I forgot to tell him to take the onion off. Just put it in the bag. Yeah. Mm. But someday, this is all going to end. While we're here, it's just only a short little journey, a short time. We're here for the purpose of finding the Lord or forever perish. That's just it. We're this life is very temporary. It's very short. It's short-lived. It's just a little journey that we're on. And right now, while we're here, this is the time. This is the testing ground. It's the time to make your decision now. God or against God. That's it. There is no in-betweens. And I know my fate after this, because of the Lord and his word. I know that after this, that I will be with him, serving him, and that's my true home. I'm just journeying through on a long journey. I don't know. Sometimes I often think, what's going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years from now? I don't know what's going to happen. What God will throw down my way. I'll probably eat my potato at my mom's house. Mm, 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 mm. Mm. That's what I was looking for, my napkins. I'm so hungry. I always save my napkins. I just put them inside of the compartment. Yeah. I know that I've been saying this for like quite some time for a while. Well, what I'm about to say. Um, I don't know like the future of like what's going to happen on here. There's a part of me, because I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and I mean I've said this before, but now it's been hitting my mind even more, that I want to do my farewells on this channel. You know, I spread the gospel a lot on this channel to a lot of different people, and spoke the word of God, and I want to continue to do so. I do feel like I should do it more, not just online, but also outside, off of line too. You know, I've always wanted to join like a fellowship, but see, as far as like traveling and spreading the gospel, like, you know, and doing like something major like that has to be something that God will open up the doors for me to do. So I don't know what I'm going to do, but I did think about like possibly potentially closing this channel down, because I've had my time on this channel. You know, I have had many years, but I think it's time for me to start fresh. You know what I mean? And I feel like, you know, maybe start up a whole new channel. I do have another channel, but you know, it's more like a private channel, and I have videos on there, and then I have a secondary channel that I use, it's like a sock account. But I want to start up another channel like the one I have now, but it's more going to be for you know, for like the Christian community. And so, like, you know, of course I'll have a whole new set of people, not for live streaming purpose though, like in the sense of having a live chat. I don't really want to get too personal with people, but you know, spreading the gospel, but also forming a community with children of God. You know what I mean? And I thought about it for some time, and I don't know if that's the move that I should be making, but you know, I'll talk to different people from other Christian communities on there, and of course spread the word of God on there as well too, you know. And you know, if I do meet different people or get like an online fellowship with people that are like-minded, that like to do Bible studies and different things, that would be nice. And just meet new people, and you know, stay focused and stay around a community of people that are surrounded in the Lord. You know, when it comes to people I hang with and do things with, I do not want, you know, any, like, for the most part, any intermingling of people from my past or people from my old channel to be on that channel. You know what I mean? I have my reasons for that. You know, I'm a big believer that you should never mix the old with the new. You know, you shouldn't mix the old with the new. Not just that, but like, I just feel like, you know, my channel, I've been on here for like what, almost 10 years, because I started this channel in 2017. And you know, in 2017 when I started my channel, I was very new. Never did a YouTube video in my life, and I did one, got through my fear and anxiety, you know, and met different kinds of people. And I had most of the subscribers that came from the news streams, news chats and stuff. But see, at that time I was young. We're talking about 10 years ago. And of course I was a Christian then, and nobody really took it serious, sure, because I was worldly and I wasn't very disciplined as I am now. But, you know, when you grow in your relationship with God and you start growing out of the things that you used to do in your old ways, you start growing closer to Him, things change, your relationships with people will change. The things that you used to relate to people on, you won't be able to relate to anymore. you know? And I'm glad, I'm happy it's that way. You know what I mean? I'm growing my relationship with God. I had to push away a lot of people or cut a lot of people off or distance myself at least. I would say most people I can still talk to, but it's not in the way I used to talk to them. Like, I don't get too personal with them anymore. I may say hi, or I may like every once in a while come by and say, hey, what's going on? And, see how they're doing, but I don't want to get too personal because we're not walking the same path. Like, we're not on the same path right now. Like, you can't one person can't walk on Avenue A, and that other person walk on Avenue B, As Amos 3:3 says, how can two walk together if they can't agree? If you're going Avenue B and I'm going Avenue C or whatever, we're not going the same path and we're not walking together. You're like, well, I ain't going on that avenue. I'm going on this avenue and this is the avenue I'm staying on. Then, we're just not clicking, And different interests and different, whole different goals that we have, So I could sit here and keep my channel if I wanted to and get more involved in other Christian communities and talking and trying to fellowship with other people, But the problem with that, like I said, mixing the old with the new will be a big problem for me. I don't want them to intermingle with people that don't, have anything in common, or they're out for the wrong things, or they want drama, or they just, they're coming around and they're not coming there to hear about the Lord, and they just want to talk about worldly things. And it's like, I'm not saying we can't have fun every once in a while, but it's just like I already know what people are about from my past, and I already know what people are about from those other channels, and they're not about God, and they're not about, good positive things. They're about drama. They're about evil. They're about, putting people down, jealousy, envy, strife, manipulation, targeting people's personal lives, and evil tactics. And so I don't want to subject anybody to something like that. So it's like that's part of the reason, like I said before, why I don't have live streams anymore, more than anything, honestly. And not just that, I do like this. I do like having this live chat without the stream a lot because, like I said, especially during Bible studies, I can just concentrate. And a lot of times you end up getting distracted. And I feel like I feel a lot more comfortable. That's really the real honest truth. I just feel a lot comfortable when I'm alone and I'm just doing a video and speaking truth or speaking about life. I just feel like I could think more. But I wouldn't mind having streams once a month or twice a month if people weren't doing the things they were doing. Like, I don't like the nonsense. And that's another reason why I was like, if I was to start up another channel, that would be a lot better. If I was to engage with other communities, Christian communities, and actually, doing like a fellowship, more like a fellowship, online fellowship, or, and I could do, different videos that talks about the Word of God as well. I don't have to have a chat room, but it would just be, I just think it would be a lot better. It's a better, smart idea, So that's something that truly, and I'm just being honest, that I've really been thinking about for a long while now. And I've been thinking about it a lot more, And I don't know, I'm still debating on it, but I feel like I'm leaning more towards that. I think that it's a good idea, fresh start, starting a new page, and that way I don't have to worry about people who are innocent, people that have good intentions mingling with people that got bad intentions, or people who want to do wrong, or getting introduced to people that are hanging with people that are doing wrong. You know what I mean? So it's like, and when I say doing wrong, I'm not saying that anybody's perfect. I'm saying like they got bad intentions. Sometimes we could be hanging with people. We may not be doing wrong, but we could be hanging with people that are doing wrong, that have bad intentions. And then we're we're intermingling with other people that may be having good intentions. And then the next thing you know, there's all this clash and issues. And that's something I don't want, you know? So I think I'm thinking about it. And I'm like, I think that I'm leaning more towards that, doing a farewell, you know? And I think that it's a good idea. But I figure I let people know, because if you ever see this channel is down or is gone, you'll know why. You know, you don't have to worry. You don't have to be like, oh, you know, oh, did she die or something like that? Or, you know, what happened? Nothing bad happened. It's just I started over again. So you will hear this message and know, like, okay, if the channel's not there anymore, it's because I've moved on. Like, in the sense of creating something new and, you know, meeting new people and, you know, wanted something, start fresh, you know? Yeah, like, hey, that's when I can really say that saying, build back better. Build back better, yes. You know? And let me just park my car. I'm here at my mom's house right now. Build back better. So, you know, and sometimes people will be like, what happened? Is everything okay? Did she get sick? Did she get cancer? You know, what happened? Did she die? Whatever. No, everything's fine. Everything's good. Just, you know, it's the message that, hey, expect that, you know, someday this channel will be not here. You know what I mean? And, you know, it's for, like I said, you already know why, because I just mentioned that, you know, it's a good idea, you know, to start fresh, start new, to move on, to meet new people. That's part of life. Life is meeting new people, growing, you know? You can't stay stuck in one area, you know? And so, and me being a child of God, I want to start meeting other people that are children of God, but I can't. I just feel like that, you know, I need to start from scratch. And, you know, not like I said, I don't want to get personal, but I do like I would like a nice Christian fellowship, like Bible study purposes, if possible. That would be nice, you know. And of course, like if I was to go to other channels and do comments on the sections, I just want to be surrounded with those people. Oh, someone's calling me. I'll call them back in a minute. I can't even see who's calling me. Oh, it looks like my father. But I'm in front of their house right now, so they'll see me coming through the door. But that's what I want to do. That's why my plans, like, and it is more as I have a feeling it's most likely going to happen, and, you know, and I think it's going to be a good idea. So, and, you know, and people will know I'm doing okay. Everything is good, you know. If anything, like, I have a sock account, so, you know, if I ever want to, you know, I can always go to EQ Stream. Of course, I talk to him. He has my phone number, you know, and talk to people every once in a blue moon. But other than that, that channel will remain a mystery. that channel is going to be simply just for the Christian community, and that's where, you know, I'm going to be using that channel to talk about the Lord, and also, like I said, to do, if I can, I would love to do like a live Bible study, like twice a month, you know, like with people, you know, yeah, get together people, but not so much for like the sake of like having a big live feed and stream. Like, I don't want that. I want something more like fellowship, like, you know, like online. But I would like to, in real life, find people that are genuine Christians too, to gather together and read his word, you know. But keeps calling me again. Oh, it's my mommy. Okay, well, I'm gonna get off here because they're calling me. And see, how do I get off of this thing? Oh, my mom's name's on the top. But I have to first end this verse, or else, you know, I don't know if I'll be able to hear her. Okay, but God bless everybody. Take care of yourselves. I'm gonna get going because I have a lot of stuff in my car that I gotta take out. I'm gonna go upstairs. Oh, yeah, upstairs to my parents' house. I won't be back until tomorrow night. Good night, everybody, and bye-bye. Bye-bye.